leaders, achievers, captains of industry, innovators, masterful storytellers, creatives, and entertainers, all hosted by the master of the game, His Royal Blackness, KKD, the finest. Catch Master of the Game on CTV. Oh yes, nuggets of inspiration and delightful treats for your enjoyment. Whether you love power, money, beauty, or fame, there is so much to learn from Master of the Game. Only in the place to be. The coolest channel, CTV. Good morning and thank you for tuning in to Master of the Game on CTV, Ghana's #1. This is the show on which we bring you the movers, shakers, icons, and legends of our beloved motherland Ghana. I am Darkwah, Kwasi Kyei Darkwah, and I'm delighted to be united with one of my own team. Why do I say my own team? She is a broadcaster on radio and television, an award winner who has been at the top of her game in Ghana, winning the Radio and Television Presenter of the Year award for 2020-21, 2021-2022, 2022-2023, and 2023-2024. She's right here with me, and we're going to be talking to the lady who has now been elevated to Deputy Head of News and Current Affairs for Class Media Group. That's a media group of 1 television station, 9 radio stations across Ghana, and 1 serious online portal. Please welcome Valentina Ofori-Afriye.
Thank you for having me.
You have such a radiant smile.
Thank you very much.
Are you what they call beauty and brains personified?
Well, I think I am.
I love that. Everybody must accept the gifts God gave them.
Yes, because it's a rare combination. One would say that you either have one, either beauty or brains. But it's a privilege to have both. So I am honored by that description.
Who told you you're beautiful?
You did, just a while ago.
And who told you you're brainy?
You did.
Well, Ghana has told you that for years.
Yes, and a lot of people have as well.
And this company that you work for has rewarded you by elevating you to Deputy Head of News and Current Affairs. How does that feel?
It feels a whole lot of responsibility on my shoulders, actually. So if you look at the media landscape, you find out that women in leadership position is a bit limited. Even on our radio or our TV, if you listen to radio in the morning, it's just like a man's business. So most of the time, it's the men that are doing the morning shows. It's only afternoons that you hear women do news or even soft music. So for that recognition to be given to me, and you know that men are also in the news business, and Current Affairs has morning show, talk show, political show, and all that. It tells me that there's something my bosses have seen in me over the years that they feel I can add to the team, elevate the team, and make a mark and a difference. So I don't take it lightly. I accept that responsibility. I'm honored, but it's a challenge I'm looking forward to impacting in the life of at least the team and then the younger generation who also want to be in media and broadcasting as well.
A philanthropist friend of mine in the US talks about the fact that when a man is given a position, if he fails, we don't blame any other man for it. But when a woman is given a position, just like any minority in any field, she feels like she's got the responsibility of all women upon her shoulders. Do you feel like you have to do this and succeed in this so you can push the agenda of women forward?
I do. You know, in society, women are the majority, but we are seen as the minority. Because if you look at the population, women are more than men. Even in the electoral college or elections on our election roll, women are more than the men. But because we have a limited number of women in decision-making positions, when a woman is given a position, the narrative is that it's because of somebody she knows, the family she comes from, maybe the husband, the father, or somebody who's pushed her there.
But men also get that.
It's relatively small compared to women. When a woman is mentioned for certain positions, all sorts of issues come up. But when a man is mentioned, you don't really hear competence. If it's a woman, oh, because she's beautiful, because she comes from this person, because this person pushed her and all that. So you have that responsibility to prove yourself, overprove yourself, and even prove that women can do it, so that other women can get that opportunity to climb that ladder. And so if a woman gets a certain position, she's not only looking at herself, she's also looking at other women who would also have the opportunity to climb the ladder. Just like we have made history, the first female vice president of the country. They say the glass ceiling has been shattered. Now she is working, but in her subconscious, she wants to succeed so that people would want to vote for a female if we have a female flag bearer who wants to be president.
She can be president herself.
So she is proving her competence and also proving the competence of another woman who has not even decided to be. We had the first female Speaker of Parliament, Joyce Bamford. She had to prove herself. That was the first time we've had. In fact, she's my inspiration. When I saw her as Speaker of Parliament from 2009, I was like, this woman can do well. And that sort of gave me an interest.
One of your staff whispered in my ear that you would like to be the next female Speaker of Parliament.
Yes. That is where the interest came from. Because I covered Parliament and I realized that we've always had male-dominated speakers. And after her, we've not had any other female speaker. And so I was like, oh, once this woman can do it, we can do it. Before her, we've had a female Chief Justice, Georgina Theodora Wood, and that was the first time. And we have subsequent ones as well. Sophia Akufu came in, and she also did a fantastic job. Then the US decided to follow us, and then their 52nd Speaker of Parliament was a female, Nancy Pelosi. She did a fantastic job. But there was this friction between her and President Trump at that time because they were coming from different parties. So I feel that, yes, women who make a stride, they don't only make it for themselves. They're also telling the next generation that you can do it. And so don't let anybody limit you. Once you get the opportunity, prepare, take it, and then women can do it. So that's how I feel. That yes, there's a responsibility on my shoulder, not for myself to prove it, but also to make it easier for the next woman who would be in line for such positions to also take it up, because once this person has done it, then it will be easier. Give it to the females because they can do it and do it better.
For the females in broadcasting, we have those on the side of culture, entertainment, and then we have those on the side of news and current affairs. Why did you choose news and current affairs?
That's the irony. In fact, when I was growing up, I didn't even think I was going to end up in radio. I thought I would work at the bank because at that time, I would work at the bank, maybe being a teller. Most of the time,
are you serious?
When people talk about bank, you know, you wear suits and it was fancy.
Okay.
Otherwise, maybe I'd be an air hostess because I would have the opportunity to travel in a plane. The fact that this evening you are in this country, by morning you are in another country, fascinated me. But someone heard me speak and the person told me, you can do radio. And that's Yawaudu Dompe Waedi. He said, oh, you speak well, you can do radio. I was not a fan of news. I would watch TV for movies and others. So I said, okay, let me try it. And once I found myself in a newsroom, nobody told me to be watching news, because what you're going to discuss tomorrow is what had happened the previous night or what's happening in the newspapers. You have producers, yes. The producer can do a certain limit of things for you, right? What basic questions, like when you're preparing. But the others, you would have to know so you can follow up on that. And when we were growing up, when we were watching GBC, we thought that the presenters knew everything because everything they said was the truth.
But you didn't realize they had to learn.
I didn't know that. So we're like, oh, these people are really smart. They are intelligent. So everything you hear, they'll ask you, where did you hear? Oh, I heard it on radio. Then that's true. I saw it on TV. Then that's true. So that responsibility just sort of sank in. So I decided to learn and learn. And I'm grateful that I had the men who were willing to help you through the ropes, teach you that, okay, you would have to learn this way. You should be confident. Don't be afraid. Nothing is like, quote unquote, a stupid question. You either know or you don't know. So you're asking to be informed or educated. So that's how I found myself in a newsroom. And I don't think I've done bad over the years.
Your first newsroom?
My first newsroom was in Kumasi, Kesewa Radio. And I want to say a very big thank you to the late Kwame Uswansa, because at that time in 2006, he had just been made the managing director. I had just come from school. You know, those times
Which
when you
school at the
complete
time?
school, T.I. Media Senior High School in Kumasi.
Oh, you went into the newsroom after high school?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I had to be at home for a year waiting for your results.
So you started as an intern?
Exactly. So I felt like I've been home for a month. I was bored. Let me see what I can do, because I've been told that I can read. So let me just go and try. So I walked in, and then he asked me, what? I said, oh, I want to come and learn. He said, which school are you coming from? I said, I'm coming from SS. And then he said, oh, I like your confidence. So can you read? I said, yes, I can read. At that time, we didn't know what the pauses were, the breaks were, when to take long and short pauses and all that. We just decided, okay, you read. Breath control, I didn't know anything. But the fact that I was confident enough to put sentences and words together, he said, okay, we will teach you. So that's where it started from. And I had the opportunity to work with a lot of experienced people who were there, who would help me through the ropes. And I was watching GTV as well. So you know that you have to put a comma where you think your breath can take you. And we have different pauses for different individuals. So somebody can read 6 words in a minute or in a second. I can only take 3 because I'm now learning. So that's where it started for me. And it's been awesome. In fact, when I went there, in 3 months, I was given the opportunity to go for a training, DW training in Accra, 2006.
DW, that's Deutsche Welle.
Yes. So I had that opportunity, and that was my first radio training. To report, go out, learn what a vox pop was, how to gather information, how to write, and how to sit properly and read news. And I haven't regretted it.
But at the time, my dear friend and colleague from GBC, Tommy Ananforsen, also had a radio broadcast foundation in Accra. And I think it was the most popular in Ghana for people who wanted to do radio. Did you know about it?
That was where I found out about the school, because that training happened at Rabodef.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and that's where I met Tommy Ananforsen for the first time in 2006.
He's one of our legends in broadcasting.
And I enjoyed your interview with him on the Master of the Game. In fact, he was the one who told me how to control my breath, because in our last training session, we all went out, and then he asked us to run in. You run in, he gives you the script, he says, it's time, go and read the news.
He did it intentionally.
How are you able to control your breath so people will know you are panting or you just rushed in? Because afterwards, he told us that this is the training you have to go through, so that if there is an emergency and you have to rush in, you won't say, give me 2 minutes to catch my breath, because news, there's no excuse. When it's 6 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock.
That's preparation for breaking news.
Exactly. So that's how come I learned that. And it's been an awesome journey. Very, very interesting.
So I'm looking at a young lady out of high school who would say, well, I want to have some fun, but this one says no. Somebody says I can read, so I'm going to go find me a job where I will not be paid. I will work as an intern. How long do you work as an intern before they recognize this girl should get a job?
Just 3 months.
After 3 months, they said, we better give this girl a job. If not, somebody will take her.
Yes, that's how come I got that opportunity to go through the training. They realized the passion was there, the dedication was there, the commitment was there, and you have something. Somebody can give you an opportunity. You can only be kept when you make an effort to keep that opportunity. Just like people would say, train, train, train. Yes, we will train you, but your ability to retain that training, a lot of it lies with you. So you would have to make that effort to improve. They realized that from the first day I stepped foot in that company, and after that 3 months, at least there had been some progress. I had improved in the way I read, the pronunciation of certain words, and how I write. So they felt I deserved that position. And I
Where were you stronger, reading the news or writing the news story?
I was stronger in reading.
So how did the training for writing the news story begin?
So from Rabodef and DW training, I decided that, okay, so there's also a lot of experience in reporting because we went out on the field to gather news. They would give you a topic, let's say Kayai. Why is this person a Kayai? Why did you decide to come all the way from your place in the north to Accra in search of a job? We went out, we spoke to a couple of them, and when we said we're coming from this place, the enthusiasm they welcomed us with and how they were able to tell their story, I was like, this is interesting because if for nothing at all, it will take you places. Even if it's in Ghana, you have the opportunity to go to a lot of places.
And you'll be well received.
Because you are from a radio or TV station. So, oh, this person might carry my message across. So I decided to learn from my colleagues who were there at that time. Elton Brobe helped me to write. He had come
Where's
from Sunyani.
Elton now?
Elton is with Multimedia now. So he had come from Sunyani at that time. He helped me write. Nanaya Osei, he's a lawyer now. He's with the NPP. He was my news editor at that time. He had come from GBC. So they helped me through the ropes. And Samson Ladi Ayeneni was also helpful.
Samson was with which station at the time?
He was with Love FM in Kumasi. He was also at KNUST. And he was a senior. He was reading news. He was reporting for BBC at that time in the Ashanti region. So he did a lot of field work and writing. So because he was my friend, I decided to learn a lot from them. And that's where the writing began.
Interesting. So I've told all of you on your team here that I'm not looking for people who can merely read the news. I'm looking for people who can go out and get the story, write the story, learn how to edit the story, and go on air and tell the story. That's holistic. You know, the old days of somebody going to write the story and then somebody merely coming to read it are long gone. You know, we've got AI helping us find facts. We've got, other stations that we can look at and be parasitic journalists, where we don't go out to actually get the story. We get the first story and then we confirm and then we get our own sources to add to the story. So to just read the news is no longer much work.
Yes.
And you have grown into somebody who goes out to cover the news,
Yes.
comes in to write the news, sits down and read the news. But in addition to that, you are also a news and current affairs show host. A whole show host. It's like a news program, but it's actually a show by itself. How did that show begin?
So, hosting, it began in 2008 when I came to Accra just to change an environment. So I decided one day, latter part of 2007, I said, I've lived Kumasi all my life. I just needed a change of environment. But I needed a place that I had a family member, so it would be easy for me to settle. Then my mom says, your auntie is in Accra. At that time, my auntie was working with Mahogany Wood Processing Company. They were at Adabraka. They were into furniture. So I came to Accra. And she says, oh, I've been wanting to tell you.
How young were you at this time?
I was just about 20 to 21 because I completed school when I was 18. So I just came and she said, I've been wanting to tell you to change your environment, but we know Kumasi people and the comfort they have in their area. So
Yet your crew.
So she didn't want to say come and then I'll say, oh, I'm comfortable where I am because Kumasi for the baby aniha. And then I came to Accra. Just when I came to Accra, I heard of Kofi Abochi's school, Abbott School of Broadcasting. It was just around Wager. And Kofi Abochi at that time had worked with Radio Gold before, so he was training. I went there, and the first thing he told me after about 15 minutes of talking to me, he says, you should be on TV. And I said, how? I have no idea. He said, we will train you. So we finished that 3-month course into January 2008.
What exactly was the course?
It was for radio, broadcasting, and then TV presentation. Then he gives me 3 letters to go anywhere I want to do attachment with. I took one to Radio Gold, and I took one to Metro TV. The third one on Man FM's TV station, that's in the 2, had just come up because it was just about 2008. So I took one letter there. I got a call from Radio Gold, and I got a call from Metro TV. They said, start. And then I told myself, what I know as a young person, if you're on TV, everybody sees you as a rich person. I am new in Accra. I bought Trotro. How am I going to start work on TV and be boarded Trotro? Fortunately, I was saved by the bell because their programming had changed due to 2008. So I went to Radio Gold. The first day I went to Radio Gold, my news editor, Roland Aqua-Steven, asked me, you said you can read. So I read a couple of scripts, and he said, okay, that's good. But I told him, I have a challenge. I'm new in Accra, so the Ghana names I'm not so comfortable with. He says, okay, we'll teach you. Unfortunately for me, and maybe fortunately for me, I should say now, the person was supposed to read the news at 2, didn't show up.
Oh, no.
That day. So Roland comes to call me an hour to the news time and says, you say you can read? I said, yes. They are reading the news bulletin, the major news bulletin today. I said, really? He said, yes. Can you? Then I was like, yes, I can. I had 2 options. It's either I perform or I don't. If I don't, I lose the chance. If I do, I am stuck here. So I took the news bulletin and I went to read. And that very day was my first major interview because I interviewed Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo.
Oh, that must be a very good interview.
Yes.
Because even if you ask bad questions, he will answer well. I think he helps every presenter because he comes with such a wealth of knowledge. Whichever way you go, it will help you focus. He's brilliant.
I don't forget that name because I called him Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. And he said, no, the Nyaho is 2. Nyaho, Nyaho. And since then, I never forgot that.
Yeah.
2 weeks into, my first presentation starts. My general manager, B.B. Manson, calls me and says, can you host the Gold Power Drive, which is the morning show? Because in 2008, Radio Gold was it. Then I said, I can, but with time. He says, no, you're doing it tomorrow because Al-Hassan Suhini, now Member of Parliament for Tamale North, will not be available, so you have to do it. I saw it as a privilege because there were people in the newsroom. Why me? Maybe because I had done something. I go on this show. I never slept. He called me around 10:30 p.m. on Thursday. I didn't sleep again. Sleep vanished from my eyes. I was in the office by 4 a.m. going through the newspapers with the help of the late Nana Kwasi, who was a fantastic pillar. Then I go and sit on this show. And guess who I interviewed? The current president of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama.
Wow. So your first power drive, you interviewed the
John
future
Mahama.
president
Yes.
of Ghana.
At that time, he was the Member of Parliament for Bole Bamboy. 2 weeks after that interview, he was named the running mate to John.
So whichever angels God sent to lay your tiles for you, laid them right.
Yes. I was shocked. When I finished, I thought I had messed up, so I couldn't even come out of the studio. They said, you had done well. And I was like, wow. So hosting is good. Then I decided to be part of the production team of the morning show.
Yeah.
So that I will learn from the likes of James Ejenim Boateng, Al-Hassan Suhini, and be better. So that's where my first hosting started from.
Wow. And now you have 505. But we'll talk about that when we come back with the current Deputy Head of News and Current Affairs for Class Media Group, right here on Master of the Game, right after this.
Imana Wayne, about Rio, but Brania Kofa Prano. Hey, mine. You may uncle.
afternoon.
Afternoon, darling.
Mommy, why didn't you come and get me?
Don't worry, I'll come and get you next time, okay?
Okay.
Ima, Shahana top your tabag back over me. Aha, Ima, pe shop na wa ha no. Hwe so mo tolobi for kwa ne to bi breme. Ima, unhwe ha nto banche ma no.
Madam, I don't pay so be kufiana. When me brother problem ana.
Si ninti na mpese mesio de wo fie nyina anya adwuma.
And it's an dia. Yan come me ho. Akoto new high sense air condition. Said the airport wo.
Sa.
Mo twan mo ko fa opuna bro.
Nati.
Na my wa na ko tuma ko pese o so nsi wa hye mi se o sin nyina.
Enstro me sort ododo.
Oi, me pacha one of no kasa. High sense air condition no beer ni jiho, and no beer pato. Esan say, our gold plated things, high quality copper pipes, eco-friendly gas, and a 4-in-1 filter system. High sense air condition from ano, air clean, and a ensansu nyedede. Your split, and your floor standing, your standard. And an inverter cooling system. And to say, who trained day? Go high sense showroom bia. Every 18th, I copy 28th February. Ya titi so say hook and you boom to high sense in there. Nina 5 years manufacturer defense warranty.
Hello, Mira. Wouldn't say a free 18th, a copy 28th February. High sense for AAC.
Bravo!
Wow, and you back with Toby.
High sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Evergreen, man. Wow. We kind those days and in front of him. Abra buffer for now parenting, Eddie or more and quada eba. It's in one corner and me put some say. And a baby, but I'm check. It's baby. We bonded as colleagues at the dining hall, the dormitories, classrooms. It's just say, me not can you boom up. But the question is, and now we'll hey, now squad you are here. Or like you are here. Floozy. And you boys in here. Where you stay? You are school. You are buying a coin. You be moved to coin. You be moved to university. You be moved to Abrabon 70. You have to retire to the villages. We are here to reunite you and ensure that we can help each other. But before that, I mean, so.
Right here on Master of the Game with my special guest, the Deputy Head of News and Current Affairs, a bright and beautiful woman who is bold and fearless, reports the news, covers the news, checks the news. But one thing she considers most important in her career as a news and current affairs professional is cross-checking to ensure that the story you're getting from somebody else is not a lie. What do you call that?
We call it fake news.
Fake news. And some people intentionally give you some stories from time to time.
Yes, people do that because of the agenda they want to set. Unfortunately, over the years, government has also been in that business of churning out fake news.
Government?
Yes, because in 2023, the Akufo-Addo government launched a government performance tracker app. They said they were going to put on that tracker all the things the government had done. There were a lot of things they put on the tracker that were fake. We had to check. They put a nursing
And you found
training.
some out
yes,
yourself?
We did. They put a nursing training in Savulugu. We have a reporter there. Because of Dagban FM, we have a Northern Regional correspondent.
Of course.
We have a reporter in Savannah, midwife and training college. They said they had done a borehole for them. Only for him to tell us that. We don't have any midwifery training college in that area.
Let alone a borehole.
You get it? So now, based on that, other people decided to follow suit. Let's
As
check.
soon as you found out, you published it.
Yes, we
And
did.
other people
on
picked it
Class
up.
FM online. So other people said, okay, they've named our area. Let's go and check whether there's something there. And we realized in less than 24 hours that there were lots of things on that app that were non-existent. Some they had said was 70% complete. You go there and there's not even 1%.
But for government communications, it will come out of two people, key people, either the head of communications at the presidency or the minister for information. So were these people aware?
Fantastic. So 24 hours later, they hold a press conference and say, oh, there were imputation errors, that we have acknowledged 67 errors, data.
How do you have errors on something you claim you have done and you're publishing for the nation to know about?
And this is not something that was just done. You sat down, you planned it, you prepared it, you gave the data to people. People from the various sectors brought the data, they put it there. You go to job employment, they said we had employed 1.1 million. Now, because of the errors that were found, when you go to some of the sites, they will tell you data not available. So you realize that
a government lying to its own people.
You realize that this is deliberate. The government had told us over the years that free SHS has benefited a lot of people. In fact, they said over 5 million, 5.3, 5.7 million people had been enrolled on the free SHS. Only for fact-checking to review that it were a little over 3 million.
So they almost doubled it. Why would anybody do that?
Fantastic. It's a deliberate attempt. Fake news, deliberate attempt to deceive the public or to impugn certain ill motives on somebody, or maybe so that Ghanaians will not know what exactly is going on. Because we were told by, again, government that when you pay e-levy, we won't go to IMF. But what happened? We pay e-levy, we are at IMF. Would you say the government didn't know? They knew, but they lied to us. There have been people who, for obvious reasons, would want to sit down and plan. People use years and hard work to build a reputation and a brand.
Yep.
Fake news would use just a second, a minute, maximum 24 hours to pull down that brand. And this is not to go back into time. You have been a victim of fake news before.
Yeah, but where are the people who did it now?
It had to take you time for you to come out and speak about it. That was when everybody realized that, okay, this information had been slanted. So if you had not come out, the narrative would have still stuck in people's head. My late husband also faced the same thing. Unfortunately, when he passed, there were a lot of people who were on social media saying that, oh, he went to buy a certain car, he didn't finish paying, and he had built a certain house, and all manner of things. Some people had to come out and say that, no, he didn't buy this car from us, or he paid in full and all that. I was not interested in going out to say whatever it is, because I felt that those who know the truth know. But for those who might not come back to know what the truth is, we have lied to them, we have fed them a lie, which would live with them, not only themselves, but generations, because they're going to pass it on. They will have it in discussions. They would pass it on to their children and say, oh, this person did this person did that, and that. So when you sit down, you ask yourself, misinformation, disinformation, lies, what is all aimed to achieve? If not to pull down somebody's hard-earned reputation or brand, then maybe for political expediency and gain. We are the media, the tool to educate and inform. But unfortunately, we have become the tool for disinformation and misinformation.
So essentially, every media person must check themselves. If not, you'll find yourself aiding and abetting criminals.
Yes, we have done it over the years. Just this morning, a deputy chief of staff, Stan Dogbe, has written to a presenter through his lawyers to retract and apologize for a lie the person publicized on radio yesterday. Yes, the person lied. He says, I would have let it slide, but now I'm in a certain position that my reputation is very important. Money cannot buy that reputation. So he has written to the person to retract, apologize, or provide the fact. Let's go to court. Esiedun Ketia, the current national chairman of the NDC, had to take a newspaper to court, and he won defamation suit because the person lied that a particular house in Kumasi belonged to him. And he said, I would let him pay, and I'll use that money to go and buy that house and name it, quote, Kwasi Binti.
KBN.
So that next time when you are doing your work, even if somebody brings you a certain information, you have to check, cross-check, fact-check, double-check, because there's always a source. The person who wants to churn out fake news would use somebody. Maybe the person has paid me to go a certain tangent. So the fact that you picked it for me does not mean that it is accurate.
You must also do your cross-checking.
Because what is my agenda? What am I seeking to achieve? Before the elections, people threw in all manner of things in the media because they wanted particular candidates to win in certain particular constituencies.
But this fake news thing you talk about, doesn't it only happen because the populace is filled with a lot of ignorant people who do not understand that before you trust, you must verify?
Sometimes, too, it's because they are gullible. We love to hear things.
Why gullible? If you're over 21, gullibility is not an excuse.
Oh, it is not, but unfortunately, that's what we bask in. People want to hear, as they say, nipa sumia ne de. We always want to hear things. And we always want to hear... Remember me super sweet words and stuff.
Oh, David.
So we always want to hear the good stuff.
Hey, baby, I'm not discussing, man.
In this current generation, the men want money more. So we want to hear things, the impossibility, the bad news about somebody that makes us excited. So we hear it and we run with it.
How do you get excited about bad news about somebody? There is a German word for it, Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is when you rejoice at the pain and the angst of others.
On social media, that's happening. Just recently, Councillor Charlotte and the husband's news, everywhere people were laughing and all.
Why should it be anybody's business? These are two adults who are married and now divorced. Why do people make it their business?
Unfortunately, people have made it their business. And you see the twists and turns to that particular issue or story.
Which one of them also put their family story out there like that?
Everybody has an angle to it. This one says this one says it.
But you must have nothing to do in your life. You must have total vacuousness in your life to spend time discussing somebody's marriage.
And that is why we are here at CMG, okay? To sift through the chaff, the speculations, and give you what the facts are. We have done all the work for you.
Are you promoting your new show?
Yes. There's a new show coming up this Friday.
I think look at the camera and talk to the camera about your new show.
So there's a new show coming on CTV, Ghana's #1, which will be also on our social media, my CTVGH, classfmonline.com, YouTube, same handles, this Friday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. This is what we are basically going to do. All the news you've heard throughout the week, okay, there's some that are fake, there are some that are propaganda, there are some that are lies, there are some that are deliberate. So, how do you know the difference? How do you sift through it? That is why the show is coming, Facts of the Week.
Facts of the Week.
We are going to tell you what the facts of the week is. All the news stories that you've heard online, Facebook, X Spaces, radio, TV, we will present you the facts. We will sift the chaff from the real news and tell you what was behind the publication. And you don't have to miss it. Because there's also going to be repeats and all that. We have a strong team. You know, last year, September, I was privileged to be part of the few journalists, GJA members as well, that were trained by the Swiss Embassy on fact-checking. So we went for this training, and it will amaze you that even an image, just like as we are sitting here, we are live on social media. The video, people can take it, alter it, and give a different background to it.
I think somebody did that to Sam George.
Yes.
They picked an
a
image
member
of his.
Parliament. He was in Parliament going through his phone, and a member of Parliament sat in Parliament and accused him. That's a member of Parliament for Damango. Former Minister for Land and Natural Resources, Sami Abujinapo, on the floor of Parliament said the Communications and Digital Innovations Minister was watching porn on his phone.
And that was a lie?
It was a lie.
So why won't Sam George take him to court?
So he said it on the floor, and the member of Parliament came.
When you speak on the floor, you can get away with murder.
To apologize. And now that's where the minister says he is bringing a bill against misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. And he's urging his colleagues to help him. We don't know when the bill will end up on the floor of Parliament. There will be certain processes the bill will go through. But in the meantime, do we have to allow fake news to thrive? No. That is why Facts of the Week is coming up, so that whoever feels maligned can take it up after that. Because we have a team of fact checkers, you know, and they've been trained. I feel that every media house should have.
You want to name some of your team?
Oh, yes. Kwame Ochijinia.
KOJ.
Yes. Elizabeth Edu, Zita Okwan, Kwame Kwachesi, Fasmensa, and a host of others. We have interns who are also helping. So we look at the news. President Mahama has done this. This MP has done that. This MP has done that. We put it all together. We will fact check. Did this happen? Yes. Is it how the story is? No. Some facts have been twisted. Okay, this is it. This is the reason to achieve this, to achieve that.
I can't
we
wait.
Put it all
I can't
together,
wait to watch you.
And then in
at
1 hour, we will tell you what you need to know. So that whatever news you hear somewhere, you will know that the last stop to verify is Facts of the Week here at CTV, Ghana's #1.
Fantastic.
Every Friday.
Now, I have a small challenge for you, though.
Okay.
I'm made to understand you had a conversation with your CEO about this when he first came here. And you kept telling him, give me time, give me time. Why were you saying, give me time?
So I have a lot of things on my table now because I want to be Speaker of Parliament. I covered Parliament for 8 years. So it's intriguing what happens in Parliament. And I want to be in Parliament, but I don't want to be a member of Parliament. So how then would I be able to understand the standing orders, maybe read the Constitution and interpret it well, and play my role as a Speaker of Parliament? Then I have to do law. So I wanted to do law a long time ago, but life happened. So I had to put my life on hold for a while. And now I've decided to go to Mount Crest to do my LLB. So I was like, okay, school, work, and this responsibility of a newsroom, deputy head of news and current affairs for the whole CMG is no child's play. So I was telling my CEO to give me time, at least in the middle of the year. And he says no, because news can't wait.
Oh, he didn't say no. He said, please no.
The more we wait, the more people consume fake news. So the earlier, the better. And I feel that there's no better time than now. Since even this year alone, there have been lots of fake news, accusations and counter-accusations about ghost names and all that. But the truth is one. And we've done some of the checks ourselves to come to certain figures that even the NSS payroll, for instance, where yesterday 2 former director generals came out to say, oh, that was not true. But I was surprised too. On the face of their own press statements, they never gave a figure. So someone puts a figure out there. You are challenging the figure. You should bring the accurate figure.
Correct.
They never mentioned it. But the head count that was done in verification puts it at over 81,000. They never responded to that figure. So then it tells you that that statement has an agenda.
That is a liar telling somebody they're a liar.
And so as a news person, do I just have to read their statement? I also have to do some fact-checking and background.
We're going to get to a point where certain statements will be placed where they deserve to be, in the bin. Because I've told some of your staff and yourself that there are some statements that are just hot air. Like a statement was made recently by a member of the NPP who was talking about how people who have been recruited should be left there. And I was very upset that we were even carrying that story because it was total hogwash. It was poppycock. We should have just referred the person to go and listen to the senior minister, Osafo Mafo, on what he had said previously.
During his vetting, before Parliament's appointment committee.
A more knowledgeable person from the constructs he calls a party that he is from. Because if we are not careful, on a slow news day, we will publish every nonsense that everybody who has been given some little bit of power. But the truth is, the ultimate power is truth itself.
Yes.
So we must focus on protecting and preserving the truth. And whatever everybody says, we must bring to Valentina to fact check.
Yes, and we are going beyond where we say, this person said this, that person said this. So decide. No. We have to situate it in context. Just yesterday, on the same matter you're talking about, the minority leader has written to the president to allow those who are going to be sacked to stay because they are Ghanaians who have been employed. Okay. So I ask myself, in 2016, those who were employed, were they not Ghanaians? Were they also not employed? But the senior minister in 2017, before Parliament's appointment committee, during his vetting, said they have to go because they didn't find themselves in the payroll. People were sacked from their jobs. Nurses and midwives were.
Get to a point where on Facts of the Week, you may have to name and shame your own colleagues.
We will name and shame because when we find out that this is fake, we have to tell you the source of it. Who published it? When? Why? We will tell you. And so once we are telling you, we have to name and shame so you know that this is indeed facts. We are not speculating. We've done a yeoman's job. We've done a hard work, and that's why we are coming out with it. We are not going to mince words and claim that, oh, there was this person who was wearing A or B. If it's Kofi did this based on this and that, and this is what he got. Or based on the relationship he has, based on a certain promise he's been made, that's why he did that. When we start naming and shaming, people will now depart from falsehood, misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, and tell Ghanaians the truth and the true picture of things. It's either you're telling the truth, you're giving the facts, or you don't say anything at all. That's what we decided to do on Facts of the Week.
Interesting. So that malice, viciousness, lies, deception will not be based on party colors.
Not at all.
But will just be based on the person.
We don't care who's asked to score. Because even if it's coming from the current government, we're going to say it. Why is the government lying to the people? Why does the government want to hide the truth? Why is the government trying to play politics with Ghanaians? If this is it, we will say it. If it's a certain minister in the government, the past appointee, we will say as it is.
Telling it like it is. We have another program that's going to be coming up soon on the Class Media Group from another one of your colleagues. But right now, there is more that I would like to find out from Valentina Ofori-Ifriye, the Deputy Head of News and Current Affairs of Class Media Group, and one of the best when it comes to broadcast media in Ghana, especially in the news and current affairs area. More to come on Master of the Game right after this.
meye auto pass. Meye auto pass. Ye car ho adwuma bibi bia e fa car ho. Wo de pa meye auto pass ye be ya mo. Ye car ahodoɔ car bi te sɛ Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi ɛna Korea car bia sɛ ehu atokyima na ɔpɛ obi a ɔbɛyɛ ne yie na ɛnkwagya ɔkɔntefia hwehwɛ mɛyɛ auto pass and diagnosis services yɛbɛyɛ mo kama menim deɛ hia wo sɛ wowɔ car na wo car no sɔn wo ho deɛ aha ɛna ɔsɛ wo w'ani kyerɛ car bia kita wa wo problem hwehwɛ wɔn akyiri akwan na ɔmo bɛboa when you have good phone say explaining engine anything hwehwɛ wɔn akyiri akwan na ɔmo mo a
afei nso yɛwɔ spare part shop kɛseɛ paa ɛwɔ aboso kan a wokɔpie mu a car ho nneɛma bi a wopɛ biara no wobɛnya bi wɔ hɔ
Mayor Auto Pass and Diagnosis Services yɛyɛ home services sɛ ebi a wo car no ɛwɔ fie na ɔpɛ sɛ yɛbɛyɛ ho adwuma wɔ fie ma wo yɛbɛyɛ servicing te sɛ oil brake pad yɛbɛtumi abɛyɛ no wɔ fie sɛ wɔ office so na wonya adagye ɛmfa mba ha na ɔpɛ sɛ yɛbɛfa car no yɛyɛ ho adwuma ma wa yɛbɛtumi aba office hɔ na yɛabɛfa car no na yɛabɛyɛ ho adwuma kama yɛwie a yɛde wade abrɛ wo yɛwɔ drivers a wɔmukura license a wɔfa wo car ɔbɛsan de aba pɛpɛɛpɛ a asɛm biara ɛmba ho wohwehwɛ mɛyɛ auto pass and diagnosis services a yɛwɔ Ablekuma town yɛ numbers a yɛde adwuma ɛyɛ 0244 451 776 and 0244 264 995.
Maya Auto Pass, we are the best.
Open up those gates.
Imana way. About Rio. But Brania Kofa Prano. Ah, hi, mine. You my uncle.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, darling.
Mommy, why didn't you come and get me?
Don't worry, I'll come and get you next time, okay?
Okay.
Ima, Shahana top your tabag back for me. Aha, Ima, pe shop ne wahano. Sheso mo tolobi for one to be bremen. Ima, Shahan to banche mami.
Ah, madam, I don't pay so be kufiana. When we brother or problem ana.
It's in internet pese monsieur, the wofi nyina anya adwuma.
And it's an etidia. Yan come me go. Akoto new high sense air condition. Say the airport wo.
Sir.
Mo channel, mo ko fa opuna bro.
Mati.
Na my wa na ko tuma ko pese o so nsin na wa shi mi se o sin nyina.
Instro so me sort o dodo.
Oi, me pacha one of no kasa. High sense air condition no beer ni jiho, and no beer pato. Esan say, our gold plated things, high quality copper pipes, eco-friendly gas, and a 4-in-1 filter system. High sense air condition from ano, air clean, and an ensansu nyedede. Your split, and your floor standing, your standard. And an inverter cooling system. And to say, who trained day? Go high sense showroom bia. Every 18th, I copy 28th February. Ya titi so say who? And you boom to high sense in there. Nina 5 years manufacturer defense warranty.
Hello, Mira. Wouldn't say a free 18th, a copy 28th February. High sense for AAC promo.
Wow, and you have got Toby.
High sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Evergreen, man. Wow. The kind those days and in front of him. Abra bafu for na parenting, edi omo enkwada eba. Itina one corner na me put some say. Ana ebi, but I'm check. We bonded as colleagues at the dining hall, the dormitories, classrooms. It's a say, me not can you boom precope. But the question is, and now we Hey, na squad you were here. Olege were here. Floozy. Any boys in here? Where you stay? If you school, you are buying the coin. If you move to coin, if you move to university, if you move to Abrabon 70, you have to retire to the villages. We are here to reunite you. And then
everybody wants to work in a field where they are celebrated, not merely tolerated. Everybody also wants to go where they are celebrated, not merely tolerated. Now, how do you know if you're celebrated in a profession or occupation? You get to know by the plaudits that you get, especially from the people you serve. This lady, who is one of the greatest voices of news and current affairs in Ghana, has been rewarded and awarded on more than one occasion. And now I want to talk about those times when you were celebrated by your colleagues and the public in Ghana. Tell me about the first one.
So my first nomination for RTP Award was in 2013. And my colleagues...
2013?
Yes, that was my first nomination. But unfortunately, I didn't win that award. I lost it to Shamima Muslim.
Shamima is brilliant too.
Yes. So,
and one of my favorite women in Ghana.
And I felt that, okay, she deserved it as well. And in 2020, I was nominated again. My peers voted for me. The public, the people for which reason I'm on air, the people I'm serving, because I can't do this for myself. We say we speak for the vulnerable, the people without voice. So the people who enjoy what I do decided to honor me by voting for me for the Best English Newsreader for 2020. In 2013, we had two categories, the male and female. But from 2020, it was a joint category. So we had male and female together.
How do you let the men 100 meter and the women's 100 meter be the same? Shouldn't it still be segregated?
No, I think it's all English news. So you had Omar Sanda in there, you had Alfred in there, you had Evans
Alfred
Mensah.
Akamsi of TV3?
Yes, he was in there, Evans Mensah was there, and the public thought that I deserved it more, so they voted for me.
This was
2020.
2020.
And in 2021, they did the same thing for me.
Whoa.
The same category. They retained me. And in 2022, they did the same thing for me.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, in 2023, I lost it to Alfred. Then in that same 2023-2024, because of the education we gave on radio about peace, because you can't imagine how Ghana would be if there's war or chaos. We need a peaceful environment. Most of the time, wherever there's war, women and children suffer most. Livelihoods are completely depleted. So I was honored with an honorary award for global peace.
Whoa.
Yes.
And this was from?
This was from the Global Peace Advocates. They felt that I had done a yeoman's job in that year promoting peaceful elections and peace in Ghana. So they gave me that award, and I was excited. But my first ever award, even before 2013, was somewhere 2012, early 2013. It came from Miss Esther Anomaba Koba.
Oh, Esther
Yes.
Koba, the boss of the
Stratcom Africa.
Stratcom. Fantastic lady.
It was
Fantastic
a drum and a metal portrait for a good work done. And I felt that, okay, I am on a good path, because for her to recognize you and give you that plaque.
She is one of Africa's leading strategic communicators.
She is the best.
I love her.
She's the best. She's so committed. She's dedicated. When you have a pact with her, you leave with something. You can't meet her and then you won't learn anything from her. So I feel that I look at these and I'm like, okay, at least people recognize what you're doing. You're on the great path. If you don't do well, these same people will tell you you're not doing well.
It's interesting that you mention her in this interview, because We have a program coming up.
Okay.
Where she's one of the chief mentors.
Wow.
And we have to sit and discuss it with her.
I would love to be
she's going to be one of the
that.
chief mentors on the program, because I think the wealth of knowledge she has through upbringing, education, and through the way she carries herself. I mean, Ghana needs to clone more people like her.
Yes.
We need more people like Madame Esther Koba.
She needs to impact that knowledge. We need to learn from people like her so that we will be more confident. Most of the time people would say, oh, you need a mentor. Okay, if it's not, this is somebody who's been in the space for years. And you would know she is there whenever she touches your life. So it's a great thing I'm looking forward to.
I have one story with her which just come to my mind.
Okay.
I was in England, and then I got somebody reach out to me. That wasn't her, that was one of her team.
Okay.
And they needed me to send a show reel. So I'm like, what's the show reel for? So, oh, there's a program that we're considering you to host. It's an international event, and we're considering you to host it. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll find something for you. And I couldn't find anything immediately, so I think I sent them two of my old TV programs. Apparently, I think Barclays Bank was celebrating so many years of being in Ghana. And a lot of the people who were actually working on the production were being brought in from South Africa. They even flew in carpenters from South Africa.
Wow.
Yes, because they just wanted people who would get things done right. I know that I think the Field Engineers Regiment participated in helping to produce that program. And they wanted everything to be perfection. And I think the show producer, who was also coming from South Africa, said they wanted somebody who was a real master of ceremonies, not just somebody. And they had asked for people's show reels from Ghana.
Of course, there's nobody but you.
And the show producer kept going, no, this one is not an MC. They may be on TV, but they're not. Oh, this one, no, they're not an MC. So my show reel comes and says, yes, this one is an MC.
This is the one we're looking
so
for.
they flew me in from London. I came to do the show, and then I had to fly back because I think I took enough permission. I'll need to be back in the office on Wednesday.
Wow.
And just working with her team, such professionalism. Even when I had sent in my short profile, she said, oh, Kwasi, we have to reduce the number of words. I know you've accomplished so much. But
Can we cut it?
And I said, oh, okay. If it is you who is going to cut it, then go ahead and cut it. She said, no, you cut it yourself.
Do it.
And I cut it and I sent it to her. But even then, she still changed, I think, 2 clauses and phrases in it that even made the profile more beautiful. And it just reminds you how beautiful it is to work with another professional. Madam Esther Koba, you are unique, you are special, and it is my prayer that you will impact more people in Ghana. And through this TV show that I'm coming to talk to you about, I tell you, you will grow a new breed of Ghanaian woman. A Ghanaian woman who believes that she is self-sufficient, she is enough, she wants to have just one good man to build a family with and build a life and legacy with. You're special. We love you, Madam Esther Koba.
Yes.
Now back to you.
And I need to also celebrate you as well. You're professional. You are a professional. You want things done accurately. And we've learned a lot. We are still learning.
Oh, but I hear you guys saying me hardly. I know okay.
So I drink honey there or hope, but I drink to achieve a certain aim and perspective. So yes, we're also grateful to you. One day, maybe I'll be sitting in that chair and hosting you.
I would love that. I would love that.
And then we'll have a great conversation.
So when you look at the awards that you've gained in the time you've been on radio as well as television, what do these awards say to you?
They tell me that I have a lot of work to do because I have a lot of responsibility. People look up to me. It's amazing when 505 is on. Even when we posted the promo, when I shared it on my status, the number of people who said, oh, we've been looking forward to it. You don't do interviews, do you? You know, we are tuning in because of you. Because 505 is the news. You tell us what, you give us the facts, you sift through the noise, you tell us what it is. There's no propaganda. We hear from all sides. You don't take sides. You present the facts.
And you speak to the players directly.
And it's humbling.
That's another beautiful thing I love about it. And that is why I refuse to change that program. You know, I'm trying to modify some programs, replace some programs. But I listened to 505 for 2 weeks in a row. And I got some mystery shoppers, 175 of them, to listen to it to give me a critique. And the bit they love the most is that you don't put people on the spot, but you get people who are actually part of the news story to talk about the news story. That's beautiful.
Yes, the team, thank you very much. The team is good, and we are also looking forward to maybe going further. One of these days, maybe we'll come and do it on TV to get a bigger audience and coverage so that everybody everywhere would have a share, a part of it. There's one thing talking on radio about something. You use a lot of your imaginations. But when you're on TV, the pictures are telling the story. So if somebody is on the line, the person wants to come and lie or say something that is not true.
You show them the video.
You have the pictures there to tell the viewer that this is it. You're not only making it up. It goes to back your story. And that's what we're also going to do on Facts of the Week. We would show you the evidence, just like we are in court with it. So the videos, the pictures, the audios and everything put together. So you know that this is the fact. So the awards are humbling, but they tell me that you have more work to do for people in Ghana.
There's history running to my head talking to you, and I can't help but let it come out. I listen to you and I see the great work that women have done before you, the great work of the likes of Vida Kuranteng Asante, who used to read the news at GBC and read it so beautifully, like Madame Veronica Tete Ashong, who became the deputy director of television, like Beatrice Adu, who used to read the news.
She was my mentor. I loved watching her.
Like Esther Asido, like Mama Lucy Banini, who was actually a presenter on radio. And, you know, all these names are playing through my head as I look at you today, because I believe all of them, if they see you talking on this program as we are now, will be proud of themselves because their work has culminated in who you are today.
Yes. And Auntie Dorcas, too, has also played a role. And the current Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts.
Ablaji Fagomashi.
She is my
mother. My buddy of many years. Because when I was doing radio and television, she was, you know, doing her drama and she was doing fantastic work there.
She's a great woman.
And I'm so happy. But somebody posted me and her dancing at a concert. Yes, I asked her private. I think it's on social media.
Two icons meeting together. That is news. She's a great woman. I met her through my job as a journalist. She listens to me on radio, and then every word I say wrong, she writes it down. So the first time she met me, she was like, you said this, you said this. This is this way, this is this way, that is this
That's
way.
our generation.
And
we can't help but tell you if we think you're good and you make a mistake. If we think you're no good, we don't really correct you. But if we think you are good and you get it wrong, we'll tell you. If you're supposed to go on a split second and you wait for 3 seconds, we'll tell you. Because those we believe are capable, we must push for them to realize their full capacity.
So she, even till date, she listens to me and she'll send me, okay, this is this. You should have done this. You should do this. You should do that. And she makes me so conscious that whenever I come across a word I am unfamiliar with, I'll just go to the dictionary. If it's coming from an area I don't know, if it's a Ga name, I would ask a Ga. If it's an Ever name, I would ask an Ever. So I don't make a mistake. Because once I'm reading, it's at the back of my head. She's listening. She's listening. And the late Marina Treba, too, God bless her soul, she's been tremendous in my career. She would also correct you when she feels that. So there have been lots of people who I share my award with because they've been the pillar. They've motivated me. And to those who thought that I couldn't do it, I mean, most of the time people feel that, oh, those who close the door, you don't need to celebrate them. You need to, because they are the reason you are better. If they had given you that opportunity, maybe you'd have taken it on a silver platter and not really have done good work. But once they said no to you, it challenged you to be better, although you want to shame them, but it's made you a better person.
So you still shame them anyway.
And that is the best reward, that you said I couldn't do it. hey, I did it and I've done it better.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel when I see these recognitions.
What do you like about the landscape of news in Ghana today? And what are the things you would like to change?
The landscape of news in Ghana today, it's just like everybody is in a hurry to be the first to carry the news. So we don't really do a lot of work. In the social media age now, everything, people want to put a camera on people's face and just go on. It breaks my heart when I see kids being interviewed by so-called journalists who are supposed to know better, that the Child's Act does not allow you to speak to a child without the consent of a parent. But we are always in a hurry to just go and speak to kids. We are people, there are accident scenes, and instead of helping people, we just take the camera, we are in the faces of people asking them things. I feel that professionalism has unfortunately been thrown to the dogs. We've just kept it aside, and what we want to do is, be the first to pronounce or be the first to go on air. We are not checking for accuracy. We are not checking for depth. We are not doing background stories. We are not bringing the facts to the people to get a holistic news. And I feel that that should change. That is what the current generation should learn, that it is not about who got there first, but it's about getting it right. And it's about informing, not misinforming. It's not about lying that will take you there for fellowship and all those things. So, okay, I have a lot of followers. Let me just put in anything there.
Yeah, but for the followers, I mean, I've had occasion to speak to some of my mentees. Then, don't be fooled by your followers. Jesus Christ had only 12 disciples.
It's true.
And the truth is, just because a lot of people are chasing you does not mean they love you. Someone to eat you for lunch.
That is true. Some are monitoring you so that you will slip and they will take advantage of whatever it is or maybe laugh at you and all that. So I think that is what we need to change in the current landscape of the media, because we're all looking at the numbers and not looking at quality. We are looking at the quantity.
So, you don't like the way people are in a hurry to be the first to put the story out, even though it's inaccurate, or even though they haven't covered their 5 Ws?
No, they haven't. But they just, we had this on the bump, breaking news. Then later, they will have to come and apologize. This is brand. We were schooled here.
So how many apologies must people make before we ban them?
To me, I think 3.
3 strikes, you're out?
You're out. That's it.
Ever heard you?
People are doing it. So why can't we do it? We had training here last week about branding through you and Miss Pearl Tehoda. You use a lot of years, resources, energy, and time to build a brand. And you would use less than that to destroy that brand. So why would you want to be apologizing when you can just wait a second longer to get the accurate information and put it out there once and for all? Why are you in a hurry? We are always in a hurry. This generation is in a hurry. They're in a hurry to be wealthy. They're in a hurry to give birth, to marry, to do everything.
Because you know what I don't know how I'm going to say this without offending anybody. But the thing is, if you're going to be sexually active, then you might as well marry. Because now check out this law. Our law permits people to have sex at 16.
Yes.
But to marry at 18. So what are we saying? Are you having sex with the one you're going to marry, or are we giving you room for promiscuity for 2 years before you marry? And then after 18, if you have already broken your virginity, what is the likelihood that you are going to take a break or a hiatus? Or are you going to continue? And then if in every year you are exchanging partners and you wait after your first, taste of the apple, because the apple was in the middle of the garden. I mean, that's very interesting language. But you've tasted the apple. Do you sit back and wait, or do you continue tasting and tasting and tasting. So from, if let's say you lost it at 18 and then you wait till 28, in those 10 years, were you with just one person or were you just increasing the body count? It's already you were in them way, because you're not worrying them.
But somebody is also, who also say, marriage is not the panacea to promiscuity.
People marry and still continue.
Yes.
Yay. And also you are someone.
Marriage is good. When you meet the person you really click with. You click with. It is good.
Well, what is click?
Somebody,
Define click.
Somebody you are so comfortable with. You marry your friend, somebody you can talk to, because life is stressful. Work is stressful. Being in media is stressful.
For me, I'll be honest with you, for me, life is not stressful.
Really?
And work is not stressful.
When you have to deal with people and conform you'll be stressed.
I tell you what, you see, the thing is, I chose work that I love. So my work is my play. See this, at the age of 12, I wrote something behind one of my exercise books at Presec Legon.
Which is?
Excellence, eloquence, elegance, purpose. So my life
That's
is
your
all
definition.
my life is all about excellence in whatever task I'm given. So excellence in every occupation, eloquence in every communication, elegance in every presentation, and purpose in everything I do. So I'm not the type of guy who has a party and wants everybody to attend. I want the people I want to attend to attend.
You choose your friends.
I'm not the guy who buys something because it's a trend. It's something I buy because I want it for myself or my friend. I'm not the type who wants to go and hang out in somebody's house, because my home, my parents' home, my siblings' homes, these are the most comfortable spaces in my life. So really, I don't have stress.
Well, some work is stressful.
Which
when
one?
you have to deal with a lot of people from different backgrounds and this is what they have to do and they always mix it up, you'll be stressed. So you want to come home to an environment or to somebody who will not add to the stress. That is why I define click. So someone who understands you and would not want to add to the stress out there. So you won't be running away from your home.
So romance helps?
It does. With the right person, actually.
And cash helps?
Comfortability.
Comfortability, not too much.
Not too much.
Not the type where you steal so much and then all of a sudden
you are running away
everybody's
from
looking
Ghana.
from you.
You see? That's when you can't sleep. You can't sleep. Even in your house, you vacate your house and be living somewhere else. That's why they say running away, nobody tornado.
Oh, yeah, that's KK Kabobo.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because
Running away,
if you
nobody
had
tornado.
been moderate, you'd live peacefully. There are lots of people who have excess money, they can't sleep.
You know the format of Master of the Game. My director, Sami Adanu, selects a video at random, and I don't know what the lottery number has brought up today, and then you get to respond to the video.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Today, we dive deep into one of the most shocking corruption scandals in Ghana's history, the downfall of Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister. Ken Ofori-Atta is the most corrupt finance minister Ghana has ever had. Kenya was nothing short of a financial disaster for the country. Despite overwhelming allegations of mismanagement and fraud, he was protected by his cousin, former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who placed family loyalty above national interests. For years, Ghanaians suffered under economic hardships, while Ofori-Atta enjoyed unchecked power, enriching himself through dubious contracts, fraudulent transactions, and reckless financial decisions. But justice is catching up with him. The new government has vowed to bring all corrupt government officials to book, and Ken Ofori-Atta is now a wanted fugitive. How did a finance minister entrusted with Ghana's economic future betray them? And why did his powerful family connections shield him for so long? Ken Ofori-Atta is a cousin of Nana Akufo-Addo and their family has dominated Ghana's political and economic landscape for decades. Some of the most influential figures in Ghana's history have come from this powerful political dynasty. 1. Edward Akufo-Addo, Nana Akufo-Addo's father, a former ceremonial president of Ghana, 1970 to 1972, and a member of the Big Six. 2. William Ofori-Atta, Ken Ofori-Atta's uncle, a founding member of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC, the first political party in Ghana. 3. J.B. Darkwah, a political mentor to many Ghanaian leaders, also from the same extended family. This family wielded enormous power, but instead of using it to uplift Ghana, Ken Ofori-Atta used his cousin's presidency as a personal bank to steal from the nation. His appointment as finance minister in 2017 was not based on merit, but on nepotism, and his performance proved disastrous for Ghana's economy. As finance minister from 2017 to 2024, Ken Ofori-Atta had total control over Ghana's finances. His responsibility was to stabilize the economy, create jobs, and reduce national debt. Instead, he did the exact opposite. Massive borrowing. He borrowed over $50 billion, pushing Ghana into one of its worst debt crises. He awarded fraudulent contracts to cronies and ghost companies. Under his leadership, Ghana had to run back to the IMF in 2022, despite promises never to do so. The Ghanaian cedi collapsed under his watch, making life unbearable for citizens. Billions of cedis remain unaccounted for under his stewardship. Parliamentarians, civil society organizations, and even members...
How do you react to this video?
It's a shame that we have to come here. But I don't see why some people decided to defend him. The OSP...
Has somebody chosen to defend him?
Yes, the minority members of the NPP.
No, don't say members, say the persons. See, that's another thing I have a problem with. I think...
Henry Nana Boakye, the national organizer of the NPP.
Is he also in trouble with the NSS?
Yeah, he has to come and respond to it.
Okay.
You have the minority leader himself.
Who is that?
Osahene Alexander Kwamina Penyoma-King.
Is he also in trouble himself for some property he has bought?
He has been defending it. Okay. See, these people came to Parliament. Henry Nana Boakye organized a press conference defending him that he hasn't done anything. And then the minority leader is accusing the OSP for something he has not done. And I sit down and I ask myself, we are here in Ghana. There are people in certain remote villages. There's still a finger of plantain. And in the next 3 weeks, they are jailed. They are trialed. They are jailed for 10 years. Some go and steal a tuber of yam. They are going to, from somebody's farm, they are going to cook because they are hungry. And we have people who have signed contracts that have questionable deeds to come and answer. They send a letter to the OSP and tell the OSP that I am going indefinitely. Who goes for treatment and the person doesn't know when he or she is coming back? But for the OSP declaring him a fugitive and wanted, would they have written to him to say they'll be back in Ghana between 11th of May and 31st of May? That wouldn't have happened. Because if it were you and I, would we have the luxury to tell the OSP that we are not coming? No. I think that the laws must be applied, whoever it is, because you can't pick and choose that when it is Kofi Menu, it is Swift, but when it is Adwoa Mensah, we all saw Victor Solomon, the late. What he had to go through, he was not well.
He was arrested at the airport when he was returning to Ghana.
He was taken there. Even when he was convicted, the family pleaded.
And this was in Kufuor's era?
Yes. The family pleaded. Let us take the man to the hospital. He had an oxygen on him in cells. They didn't allow until he had an attack. He was taken to Kolebu and the man died. Our own Chachuchi Kata, I say our own because if you're talking about law,
of course,
the man is an experienced hand. He was arrested on Sunday, immediately after church. He had cases, he was not well. Even in cell, when he's taken to the hospital, you have police people there. Why do we want to change the status quo? Once there's a precedence, let us all follow that precedence.
Do we have a problem if a journalist calls those who are defending corrupt people fools?
The person is stating the fact, but you see, you are defending somebody because of something. Why are you defending him? Were you a beneficiary? Did you play a role? Because you think that maybe if he is questioned, your name will come up. So let us defend him so he doesn't appear. But he is going to appear. We are talking about millions of cedis. We've spent $58 million to sink a hole.
When I spoke about this,
at the National Cathedral
chap on national television,
you were banned.
GBC banned me from speaking on the national airwaves. A man who, with his relative, had said, Yetisi Kaso Nekomodiyeng, now appointed this man in a private enterprise that wasn't making much money. And
the
then
transactional
he
advisor.
now takes Ghana to go and borrow, and for every borrowing, he makes 9.8. So if he borrows 100 million, he makes 9.8 million.
Yes.
And people sat there and watched silently.
And that
because Ghana is a country with men who are cowards. People could not speak. And when I spoke about it, he said, you are banned, you are not allowed to talk here. Now I will just remind people, the Ashantis have a proverb, and it's a rather foolish proverb. You know, not all our proverbs were written by wise men. It says, if power is for sale, sell your mother to obtain it. Once you get the power, there are so many ways of getting her back. The fool who wrote that proverb did not realize that if you sell your mother to obtain it, by the time you go and get your mother, she would have been killed. Who has power? Nobody. That is why we say people are in power. Nobody owns power. You come into power for a while. Power stays where it is, and you will leave power. And I said it on television. Emre yeninkaso. How would you say that in English? Emre yeninkaso.
Time is a face.
Let's just say anybody who gets access to the public funds thinks it's for him. No, the public funds is for every citizen of Ghana, from the president to the pauper. And I want all of you journalists to be bold enough to hold people accountable. That you who cannot create any job of your own, and you who can create a job of your own, if you are given any little power, if you're clothed in any little authority, know that it is only given to you to serve the people. How are you, the journalist, serving the people now?
And that's one thing that we need to learn, and what we intend to achieve with this fact of the week issue. Because see, Ghanaians think that the people we are paying, the public servants, are the gods. But they are called public servants for a reason. They are there to serve us. We make them. Without our taxes and our contributions, they won't be paid. And without us, they are nobodies. And Ghanaians, I think some of us understood that.
Without us, they
are nobodies. Because we saw some people in this country, prior to the 2016 elections, they didn't have anything.
Writing checks for 2,000.
2,000 CD checks were bouncing. And then, fast forward 2018, they are buying properties and lands in millions of dollars.
What enterprises did they start?
Good question. And so, such people would come and they want to lord over us when they are public servants. But when it's getting closer to December 7, they realize they are nothing without us. So they come to our level, come to our homes, want to wash our clothes, want to cook and plait hairs, so that we give them the power they've been lording over us with. And I think Ghanaians understood that assignment and said enough is enough. Even that some of them have not understood it. How do you sink $58 million into a hole that you want to build for God and go to IMF for money you don't have? How do you explain this? That you sign a contract with a company to deliver a certain work, and that work has not been done, yet you are paying the company. Come and account for that. You want us to beg you to come and do that?
On that note, I have to thank you, Valentina Ofori-Afriye. You get very passionate when you're in your news and current affairs mode, don't you?
Yes, I am. And I have a passion. Maybe subsequently I might unveil it. I want to see the narrative change, especially for widows in this country.
Thank you very much. My special guest, Valentina Ofori-Afriye, the new the new deputy head of news and current affairs, top newscaster, and top host of a news and current affairs show. Thank you very much for joining us on Master of the Game. My name is Darkwah, Kwasi Kyei Darkwah. See you next time.